up guys, in today's video we are going to be discussing a kayak bass fishing setup. We're going to be talking about what kayak I use to go bass fishing on, what tackle I take on the kayak, and also a couple life hacks that we've found make kayak fishing a bit more enjoyable. And yeah, enjoy the video. Alright, so starting off, I'm just going to start talking about the kayak. The kayak we use is the Fluid Bamba. You can pick the Bear kayak up for 11,999 on their website. I'll link the website down below. It is a 425 centimeter long kayak. It weighs about 33 kgs bare weight, so with nothing, no tackle or anything on it. Its width is 80 centimeters. The carrying capacity is 220 kilograms, so you can really load this thing up. You can stuff it. I'll show you just now. There's so much storage in this thing. I'm not going to get too much into detail with the features because there's just so much on this kayak, so much storage, so many little nooks and little things that you can do with it. I'll link the website in the description below, so you guys can go and have a look and read through all of that nitty-gritty stuff. One thing that I can say about this kayak is it tracks through water really well. It goes in a straight line really well, and that's because of the shape of the hull. If you have a look over here, you can see these deep keels on the front and back, and that helps the water helps the kayak track quite straight without the need of an additional rudder or anything like that. One thing I have noticed with these shorter kayaks is when you're on them, when you're paddling, almost like every time you paddle the kayak turns like 90 degrees, so it's really hard to just go in a straight line for a long period of time, and the wind blows these shorter ones around quite a bit more. This kayak is extremely stable. It is seaworthy actually, so you can go and do some deep sea in it. It's got a rod hatch that you can store your rods in for a surf launch. This thing's properly kitted. We'll go through it right now. Alright, so I've opened up all the hatches over here. I'm just going to walk you through everything over here. This big hatch in the back here has got a net, so in case you put something in here, it doesn't roll around, so it's got a little net, so just keep everything here. These two are both, you can use them as live wells. They've got drainage plugs in here, so if you want to carry live bait or anything like that, if you want to store a small fish or something. So yeah, you can take these out and it will fill up with water. All of these lids are waterproof. They've got a rubber gasket over there, so they are sealed, watertight. These little drainage holes over here, so that if your kayak takes in water, it doesn't fill up, it does drain out. This one I usually use to put my phone and my water bottle in. It's also got a net so that it doesn't roll around in the hole. Over here I usually keep like old plastics and whatever that I've torn. I need to re-glue them. It's got 3 rod holders. It's got 2 on the back here, over here. Here's the third one over here. It's got a rod hatch, goes all the way in there, so you can stick your rods right in there for a surf launch, or if you're going up some rapids in a river or something. This goes over it first before you close it, just like that, and then you close this over here. It's nothing, that's not going to open up. That's not going to open up. What I usually use this for is I've got a little soft body cooler bag that I stick in here. I keep my food and whatever for the day. And on the back here, I just want to show you this one more thing I forgot about. It has a groove. This kayak has a groove over here for a milk crate, a standard size milk crate. It will sit above these holes so it will not get wet. You can see the water level over there. And I've got a milk crate, so I'll show you how it sits in here. And then there's some more space over here for, if you want to put a bag or anything like that. There's a rudder, that is an oar keep over here. So you put your oar over here, you can clip it over there. If you're parked in some lily pads or whatever, that's usually what I like to do, so it's not in the way on my lap. This kayak also has an anchor pulley system where you can adjust the position of your boat with your anchor. It'll clip on here. If you want to change the position of the boat, you just pull it down. This kayak also has adjustable foot pedals. You can adjust it to fit however tall or short you are. And what I like about this as well is it's got space to attach a rudder that you will be able to steer with the pedals. The tubes are in whatever to run the cables through already, So if you want to add that on, you can. But I find this thing goes so well in the water. It holds such a straight line that we don't need to add anything like that on. Alright guys, so now that you've seen the basic stock kayak, how it comes from the shop, I'm going to show you what we like to add on to our kayak for the day's fishing. Alright guys, so we're going to start off with the scupper plugs that we've made. We use these little foam golf balls. We've made a hole through them, put a cable tie through. We put a cable tie through it, you can see there, and then this end just keeps it from pulling through. So we use these on the round drain holes on the kayak, and then the ones that are a bit more elliptical shaped, we use a pool noodle. So you just take a normal pool noodle that's got a hole in the middle, and you cut it into like slices like that wide, and then we just put them in the holes, and it prevents water from coming in. Obviously you don't want to do this in a surf situation or a rapid situation where you could take in water, because then you'd want the water to go out of the kayak. But in our case, we only fish on small little farm dams or calm rivers, so we don't really take in water. So we want to keep the seat dry that we're sitting on, so that's why we put these plugs in. Alright, so we're just going to put in these scuppers quickly. It's super easy. You don't want to push them in too deep, just like that. And there you go. This serves as a little handle to pull them out when you want to remove them, just like that. And then these we use over here, these elliptical shaped ones. Also just put them in like that. Just like that. And it's that easy. Alright, so here's what the plugs look like up close in the drainage holes. They're in there nice and firmly, no water's coming in here. I'm going to stay nice and dry. Here we go. Here's what the pool noodle ones look like. There's the hole there. Just put them in. Again, you're going to stay nice and dry like that. Some water might come in, but at least when you're going over some lily pads or grass or anything like that, none of that stuff is going to get in the drainage holes. Alright, moving on to the seat. This is a super basic seat. I think this actually came with the kayak, but this is the seat that we use in the meantime. It just clips to these little, it's got like these little plastic carabiners. It clips onto these little hooks on the kayak, just like that. On this side as well. There you are. And then once you've got that set up like that, you can adjust the tension to fit your posture, just like that. And there we go. That's the seat sorted out. Alright, so now moving on to this milk crate slash rod holder. I keep most of my tackle in this crate, and we've made a little rod holder out of some wood. This is a proper little DIY at home. My dad came up with the design. There you go. And then these PVC tubes just drop in here like that, and there you go, you got a rod holder. Now we fix this to the back here with some bolts. I'm going to do that quickly and then I'll show you how it's set up. Alright guys, this is what it looks like once it is on. The bolts going through from this side. We screw them on with some butterfly nuts over here. So we've got 4 on all sides. Holds it nicely in place. And then we use these PVC pipes. I've got 2 shorter ones, 2 longer ones. I'm not sure why, but just for character, you know. So I'll usually put the 2 longer ones in the middle, just like that. There we go. And then the 2 shorter ones on the outsides, just like that. There we go. Now this crate is ready to be put in on the kayak. Alright, so as mentioned before, this kayak has these 2 grooves over here so that your crate can sit above these holes, because the water line is just over here. So it keeps everything that you got in this crate nice and dry. You'll see it fits perfectly. There we we are. There we go. Fits perfectly nice and snug. Now there's been 1 or 2 times where I've got my bag inside here, I've got my rods, and I reach behind me to try and grab something out, and this crate comes a bit wonky like that, and you don't want it to fall off because it's got all your tackle on. So we've put a bit of bungee cord in here, a little knot and a washer on the inside so it doesn't pull through. And this we just clip with the carabiner to these little clips on the side, on both sides. Now this crate is going absolutely nowhere. Alright, now I'm just going to briefly go through what I take on my kayak on a day of kayak fishing. Alright, so starting off on the top here, I've got my sunnies, I've got a can of sunscreen, and then inside here I've got mainly all of my creature baits. I've got my frogs, I've got my brush hogs, I've got my bandito bugs, trench hogs. That's all my creature baits I keep up here. So yeah, that's what I keep in the top part over here. When I go fishing on the kayak, I genuinely try and take like pretty much a little bit of everything because you don't know what to expect. So I try and take, even my rods, I try and take just an all-rounder setup, a combo that I can use for pretty much anything. Inside here I've got my terminal tackle, my hooks, my sinkers. I've got 2 flies and Ned, never been used, but yeah, all my terminal tackle in this top planner over here. In the second one I've got all my surface lures. I've got my hollow bodies, whopper ploppers. I had a spook on here but it's rigged up, it's in the boat. Poppers. So yeah, I've got all my top water in this box. In this third one I've got all my cranks and jerk baits, lipless. I use this box quite a bit. I've got a few chatterbaits, some jigs, and then in the last one all my spinner baits, buzz baits, and 1 or 2 swim baits, a mech spinner. So yeah, I've got everything quite organized. Like I said, I've got a little bit of everything, just so that if something isn't working I've got another option to go to. So this I take with me on the kayak. Alright, then I take this little pesca bag. Inside here I've got all of my flukes, and I've got some paddle tails. I've got a finesse worm, my lip grip, of course. I've got some little split shots, so that's what I'll keep in this bag. In this bag I've got all of my stick baits, so it's like your Senkos, this is the blazing worm by Guggen. I've never used this before, I'm looking forward to using this though. So all of my stick baits, my Senkos, all of that. I've got some drop shot stuff in here, some leader line, I've got pliers. There we go. I'll actually show you where I keep that on the boat later on. Alright, so that's what I take with me on the boat. And then in this bag, it's generally just old plastics that have been re-glued, or it's like just scraps, really. So yeah guys, that's basically all of my tackle that I take on the boat with me, aside from my fishing rods, but I'll go through that shortly. So yeah, this is all my bait. That's a better way to put it. This is all my bait that goes with me on the boat. Alright, so now I'm just going to show you how I store all of that tackle inside this kayak. This bag takes up pretty much this whole crate, drops in there nice and easily, just like that. That's exactly how it sits. Moving over to the front, moving over here, this is where, like I said, I keep my soft cooler bag, and then all of these little smaller bags I keep in here as well, fit in here perfectly side by side, and then this goes right on top. Have a look at how much space there is in there. Look at that. It is huge. This could even go in the front. Yeah, my cooler bag can go up top there. There is so much space in this kayak. You can really load this thing up. Okay, now for the last of this loose stuff that I will be using quite frequently, I'm going to show you where I store all of this stuff now. This scale and the lip grip, I'll keep them here because I'm going to use them both together. I'll probably keep my phone and a water bottle in here, just easy access. Alright, so with this we made a little MacGyver move, a little DIY with some bungee cord. This I usually just clip over here, so that if I for some reason drop this over, it's not going to fall out of the kayak. My O-ring pliers, I do the exact same thing. I take this carabiner over here and I clip it on this side. My scissors I also generally keep inside here, but if I'd like to, we've made this other little thing with this little jobby here. It opens up. You can clip it on whatever you'd like. Close it. I guess you got another bungee cord. You can use this carabiner, clip the scissors on, just like that. It's not going anywhere. Or you've got a big little key ring over here that you can also, like I've done with my pliers. So yeah, but generally I keep my scissors in my hatch. I know my dad likes to keep it connected to this bungee, but I like having as little stuff open here as possible, just so that it doesn't get in the way. So yeah, that's what I do with all these little loose thingamajigs that I'm going to be using quite often. Okay, moving on to the back here again. The last thing I want to mention before moving on to the rods is a net. This is just a rubber mesh net. We've used bungee cord again on the back there, connected it to the net. Made it a nice long cord so that we can do what we need to do without it getting in the way. This side we've got a bit of heat shrink with a carabiner. Again, you clip this carabiner wherever you find convenient. I usually do on this side over here, and then I pop this net just in there. So like this, when I get a fish, just reach behind my back, pull out this net. Because this cord is long enough, doesn't matter if I go on the left or right side of the boat, don't have a hassle. And again, if you drop it in the water, you can retrieve it because it's connected to the kayak. One more thing, sorry, is the life jacket. You want to get a life jacket that fits nice. It's quite easy to maneuver in because you use quite a bit of your upper body on kayak fishing, whether you're paddling, casting. It's a bit awkward when you're sitting down, so you want to get a life vest that is comfortable to wear when you're on the kayak and doesn't restrict your movements. Okay, I'm just going to briefly discuss the rods that I take when I go kayak fishing. I take 4 rods. Again, a kind of an all-rounder. All 3 of these are all-rounder rods, but I rig 2 up more finesse style and 2 more of a power fishing style. So you can see there's a lipless and a chatterbait. This one has got a very light mojo with a junior fluke, and this one has got a bit of a heavier tungsten with a Texas rigged ultra vibe speed crawl. This is basically my setup. I've got 2 Akuma Recons with both with same R reels. This is a Cullum Spark combo and a Black Max combo. Nothing too fancy. All, like I said, all pretty much all-rounder rods. Okay, now we get to see the rod holder in action. These rods slide down, the baits slide into it perfectly, just like that. There you are. And that is how I rig up my kayak. There you are. Okay, so before I end off, I'm just going to walk through this again quickly just to recap everything. On the back here, got a milk crate that's fixed with bungees and a carabiner. This is just when we use spinners sometimes or anything like that, we can just put the hook in here just so that spinner can dry, you know, those what do you call it, those skirts sometimes hold a bit of water, and if you put them in the planners they get a bit of damp, so we'll just clip them in here and they hang nicely. Again, the rod holders with this little thing that we made at home, fixed with these bolts. All the storage over here. This crate sits raised, doesn't get wet. All 4 watertight compartments. Seat, life vest, pliers connect with a bungee carabiner, O-ring pliers. Again, these bung plugs under the seat to keep my bum dry. Yeah guys, that's pretty much it. This is pretty much how I rig up my kayak. Alright guys, that is pretty much it. The kayak is rigged up and ready for a fishing trip. This is going to be a 2-part series. This was just explaining how I rig up the kayak. I will be organizing a trip on the kayak. I'll try and incorporate it into the channel within the next month or so. We're looking to go to Boschkorp Potch, Tanglewood. A lovely, lovely, lovely dam for kayak fishing. We've only fished it on a boat, but we've been wanting to go put the kayaks on the dam there. So that's probably where we'll head off to. So stay tuned for that second part of this kayak series. And yeah guys, thanks for watching.